The Effects of the Speak Out Voice Program on Vocal Intensity in Parkinson's Disease by Hilary Harbaugh. My client is a 69-year-old male diagnosed with Parkinson's disease in 2006. After his evaluation, he was diagnosed with severe hypokinetic dysarthria, dysphonia, and dysphagia. He has had no current or previous speech therapy, and he had a DBS device implanted on the right in 2012 and the left in 2015. If you're unfamiliar, a DBS device stands for Deep Brain Stimulation, and it's a non-surgical treatment to reduce tremor and to block involuntary movements associated with Parkinson's disease. He's also currently on the medication Sinemet, which is used to manage the symptoms of Parkinson's disease like tremor, weakness, and muscle stiffness. So a little reminder on Parkinson's disease. It's a chronic progressive neurodegenerative disorder that affects movement. It's estimated that almost 90% of individuals with Parkinson's disease will experience disruption of speech during the progression of the disease. Speech problems are due to muscular rigidity and reduced force and reduced range of movement. Intelligibility for these patients is impacted by reduced loudness, a breathy voice, a monotone pitch, reduced articulator movements, and intermittent and/or rapid speech. So probably the most popularized voice treatment for increasing vocal loudness for individuals with Parkinson's disease is the Lee-Silverman Voice Treatment, or LSVT. It was created almost 30 years ago, and this program improves vocal loudness by stimulating the muscles of the larynx and speech mechanism through a systematic hierarchy of exercises. This program is completed in 16 sessions over a month, which is 4 individual 60-minute sessions per week. More recently, in 2010, the Parkinson Voice Project developed the Speak Out Voice Program, which is an alternative to LSVT. This program focuses on speaking with intent, which is thought to activate the pyramidal system, a direct pathway of the brain that is typically still functional in patients with Parkinson's disease. As with LSVT, the Speak Out Voice Program uses a hierarchy of vocal exercises during treatment. Speak Out has a concurrent home program as well as a loud crowd maintenance program to sustain the effects of treatment over time. Because Speak Out is a newer program, there's less research available on the effects of treatment. However, there are 3 studies that I found. In 2014, Levitt investigated the effects of the Speak Out program for 6 individuals aged 65 to 78 with Parkinson's disease. The efficacy of the voice treatment was judged in 3 ways. First, on the increase of vocal intensity. Second, on physiological functioning, as self-reported on the Voice-Related Quality of Life Measure, or VRQOL. And finally, on social-emotional aspects, as self-reported on the VRQOL. After completing all 12 Speak Out sessions, all participants in the study demonstrated improvements in vocal intensity. These gains ranged from 5.54 decibels to 26 decibels. The participants' self-perception of their physiological functioning also increased from an overall rating of fair at baseline to good post-treatment. Social-emotional scores on the VRQOL showed improvements from fair to good at baseline to good post-treatment. However, further analysis showed changes in this area were not statistically significant. Levitt proposed an explanation for this, saying that because of the sensory deprivation that can happen with Parkinson's disease, these individuals are not often aware of the consequences they may be experiencing in the social-emotional aspects in communication. So it's possible that they rated themselves higher at the beginning than they actually were functioning, and then at the end their scores did not seem to improve, although they may have actually improved. This author notes that further research with a control group and more participants is needed. In a subsequent study, Levitt, Chitnis, and Walker-Batson again investigated the effects of the Speak Out voice program with additional participants. 12 adults, ages 65 to 80 years old, received voice therapy for 12 sessions. Efficacy was again judged by an improvement in vocal intensity as well as improved perception of their voice as reported on the VRQOL. The resulting evidence showed statistically significant increases in both areas. Most recently, in 2016, Watts explored the long-term treatment effects of the Speak Out Voice program in a retrospective study. In his research, the records from 78 patients were analyzed. This analysis showed that these individuals with Parkinson's disease maintained significant increases in vocal intensity ranging from 5 to 17 decibels up to 12 months post-treatment. The author concludes that the resulting evidence is on par with other common treatment methods for vocal intensity, such as LSVT. The treatment phase of this study introduced the use of the Speak Out Voice program. This program contains 12 lessons consisting of speech, voice, and cognition exercises. However, due to cancellations, the patient completed 10 sessions during this study. Further sessions were completed after the study ended. The patient was provided with a free copy of the Speak Out Voice program workbook by the Parkinson Voice Project. He was instructed to complete the exercises for that day's lesson twice per day, once in the morning and once in the afternoon. The patient reported completing exercises daily. In the Speak Out Voice program, there's 7 exercises for each lesson. These exercises include a warm-up exercise, an ah exercise, a glide exercise, a counting exercise, a reading exercise, and simple and complex cognitive tasks. I'll go into each of these exercises now. So this is a copy of Lesson 1 of the Speak Out Voice program. On it, you'll see a warm-up exercise, the ah exercise, and the glide exercise. For the warm-up exercise, they're asked to repeat may, me, my, mo, moo with intent 5 times. The goal for this is to reach 85 to 90 decibels. Following that, they do the ah exercise, where they hold out ah for as long as they can, again with intent. They repeat this 5 times. Next, they do a glide exercise, where they glide up and down the scale. I won't give an example because my voice isn't the best, but they start at low, go high, pause, and then come back down the scale. Again, they repeat this 5 times with intent, with the goal of reaching 85 to 90 decibels. Clinician corrections and models are provided as needed, with the patient receiving reminders to speak with intent. The next exercise is the counting exercise, where they're instructed to speak out across a large auditorium while concentrating and saying each number with intent. Again, this is repeated 5 times. So on this task, they're giving reminders to stop and take a breath so they can maintain breath support throughout the entire task and a strong voice. The next task is a reading exercise. On this task, they're again instructed to speak out across a large auditorium and concentrate and say each word with intent. The goal here is to reach 75 to 85 decibels. So some phrases they might read are, hi there, good morning, how are you, who is calling? Again, they're given reminders to speak with intent. The final example from Lesson 1 I have is a cognitive exercise. On this task, they're again instructed to complete each phrase with intent. They're instructed to read the phrase and complete it. This is considered a simple cognitive task because they only have to provide one word. In an example of a more complex task, the clinician might ask an open-ended question, like, what would you do if you had $1 million? They would have to form an answer and respond with intent. So materials that were used were the Speak Out workbook that I've just discussed, and I just wanted to mention that I showed Lesson 1, but because there are 12 lessons, they increase in difficulty as they go on. Another material that was really necessary was a digital sound level recorder, and this was used to get the average of all the trials on different tasks. This allowed easy comparison between baseline, week 1, week 2, week 3, etc. My patient's initial baseline spontaneous conversation level as measured in decibels was 45 decibels. After 10 sessions of the Speak Out Voice program, his spontaneous conversation decibel level increased to 65 decibels and was pretty consistent over sessions. This is an increase of 20 decibels, which is pretty consistent with the research showing the kind of decibel gains that could be made with this program. So my first experience with the Speak Out program overall was pretty positive. Some pros for using this treatment is that it's effective, as shown in the research. It's comparable to LSVT. There's a maintenance program in Speak Out with a non-specified ending point, So a group may meet once a week for however many years, which is good for socialization and maintaining their ability to speak with intent. Also, this program is pretty client-friendly. My patient seemed to like the program, and the workbook that he was provided for free helped at home. So speaking of the homework, that can definitely be a con for this program. My patient was very dedicated. He attended many Parkinson support groups, exercise programs, physical therapy, etc. So he had no trouble committing to the homework, doing twice a day, every day, for again an unspecified ending point. Because of the nature of Parkinson's disease, it is a degenerative disease, meaning you need to keep up with the exercises, the physical exercises, and the vocal exercises in an attempt to maintain function. Another con I found for this program was scheduling. Because Parkinson's patients are older adults, they may have other health issues going on at the same time, and other doctor's appointments, etc. So scheduling can be a problem. There's 2 sessions per week, totaling 12 sessions over 6 weeks, and a lot of things can come up in that time period that may impact their ability to attend a session. And if they're not completing their homework at home, their progress may not be maintained. Another scheduling difficulty is on our end, the speech end, that I've noticed at my internship is the ability to schedule a loud crowd group. There's many interested patients, however, there's just not the space or the time to schedule these patients in to have a weekly group session for, again, an unspecified amount of time. And these are my references. I hope you found the Speak Out program interesting. I certainly did when I first learned about it this semester. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below my discussion board post. Thanks.